The Red Raiders finally get into the win column with a 41-3 win over Tarleton State. But we saw both Tyler Shough and Behren Morton in this one for the Red Raiders. Is there a QB1 debate going on right now for Texas Tech? We'll answer that and more in today's recap video. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I am RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay in the know on Texas Tech football all year long. We've got previews, recaps, film breakdowns, everything you need to know when it comes to Texas Tech football. We've got you covered right here on your one-stop shop for everything Texas Tech football. And hey, Texas Tech men's basketball is not too far away either, about 2 months away from tip-off for year one of Grant McCasland. If you want to stay in the know on Texas Tech, hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, hit the like button as well. In today's video, we will recap Texas Tech's first win of the 2023 season for Joey McGuire and crew. It was absolutely dominant, but the major question after this one was who is QB1? Joey McGuire was clear and direct in his post-game press conference about who will be the starting quarterback headed into Big 12 play for the Red Raiders. But I want to ask you guys this. Should there be a debate about who is QB1 for Texas Tech? A simple Y for yes or N for no. I know that there's a lot of people on the Behren Morton train. We'll discuss him and how he looked in the second half for the Red Raiders. I know there's also a couple people that really like Tyler Shough, right, when it comes down to it. So I want to hear from you guys. Let me know, should there be a QB1 debate for the Red Raiders as they head in to Big 12 play? All right, let's just jump right into what Joey McGuire had to say in terms of his post-game press conference. Because, again, I think this is probably the biggest debate in Texas Tech Red Raider Nation fandom right now. Those that think there should be a debate in terms of the QB1 spot, and those that think, no, it's not Tyler Shough's fault, right? Like, it's not entirely his fault. There's 4 or 5 other reasons that Texas Tech started out 0-2, right? Which I can see both sides of the argument. Credit to Joey McGuire, though. He came out and basically his first comments to the media after the Tarleton State win, again, 41-3 for Texas Tech, he basically came out and just said this. This was my plan from last week that I was going to do this no matter what in terms of talking about playing both quarterbacks, Tyler Shough and Behren Morton. He also went on to say this. Shough is QB1 for the Red Raiders headed into Big 12 play. Listen, I don't think this is a surprise, or at least it shouldn't be for anybody when it comes down to it, right? I'm more happy that Joey McGuire was direct about this. He was just straight to the point, didn't have this whole week of shenanigans where is it going to be Behren Morton? Is it going to be Tyler Shough? Because, looking at the Arizona Cardinals in week 1 of the NFL season, for example, oh, it's an advantage. They got a plan for both. No, let's be real about this. You need to be that coach that comes out and says, hey, he's our guy right now. Can things change? Sure, they can. But right now, Tyler Shough is QB1 for Texas Tech. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't have an opinion on it, and I want to hear you guys' opinion. Who do you want to be the Red Raiders QB1? Not what Joey McGuire said. You as a fan, who do you want to be QB1 for Texas Tech? Tyler Shough or Behren Morton? Type S for Shough or M for Morton down in the comments below. I think it's fascinating in terms of how people are viewing this. Again, I have no bias towards either of these quarterbacks, just whichever one gives you the best chance to win. I've said it nauseum. This is how I view it. I view it as Tyler Shough gives you a higher floor if you're Texas Tech, and Behren Morton gives you a higher ceiling. It really comes down to which one do you want for Texas Tech. And I talked about it last night on the Twitter spaces that I have over on Twitter. And if you haven't followed me on Twitter already, do so at RCMB323. I talked about it last night where the debate with Shough and Morton comes down to this for me. What do you think Texas Tech's ceiling is, right? Like with Tyler Shough, for me, I think the Texas Tech ceiling after the 0-2 start, now you're 1-2. And remember, people, you're a quarter of the way through the season, right? I understand your goals are still ahead of you when it comes down to Big 12 play and everything. But it really comes down to this. What do you think the ceiling is with Tyler Shough? And I think for me, when you look at the Big 12 play, I think it's probably 6 wins. I think that's fair. 6-3, right? Get you to, 7-5 on the year. I think when you look at it from the Behren Morton side of things, do I think Behren Morton can win one more game for you in Big 12 play? Yeah, probably. But I also think that he could lose you two more, right? He's a gunslinger, and there's nothing wrong with that. I like Behren Morton as a quarterback. I really do. I like Tyler Shough as a quarterback as well. For me, this isn't a QB debate. I think this is more of an offensive philosophy debate. What do you want Texas Tech to do offensively, right? And it's a you issue in terms of what you want them to do, but it's also another entirely debate on what Zach Kittley wants to do, right? And Zach Kittley has proven time and time again that he wants to throw outside the numbers. He wants to stretch it out. And reason being is when you stretch out a defense like that, it's easier for your quarterback to tell what's going on. Simple and plain. Now, you have to throw outside the numbers, and I think it's very easy to say, and this isn't a shot at Tyler Shough or anything, Behren Morton's got better arm strength. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to see that, or somebody that's an NFL expert or football expert or whatever it is, right? Like Behren Morton has better arm strength. I think Tyler Shough is a better runner than Behren Morton. I don't think, a football expert can tell the difference there. I think it's very clear, right? Like Tyler Shough's the better runner. I think it really comes down to this for me. And I talked about it again last night on the Twitter Spaces. I had a revelation, I guess, in some regards. Listen, I am not taking what Behren Morton did in the second half as gospel. Okay. I don't think anybody should. I don't think anybody should take what Tyler Shough has done the first 3 games of the season as gospel, because Lord knows that the coaching staff has had some just absolute big time F ups, right? But if we're looking at what this offense needs to do, right, and what it needs to do going into the Big 12 and what it struggles with, okay, first and foremost, the wide receivers get no separation. All right. Shout out to Jordan Brown for having a career night. He went 6 for 73 and a tutty, career high in receptions, career high in yards, and he got a touchdown as well. Congrats to him. But listen, if we're being completely honest about it, Lyle has said it from really the jump last season. These wide receivers cannot get any separation, and it is carried over, right, into year number 2 of Joey McGuire. And if that's the case, don't you think Tyler Shough should start more, right? Because it allows you to run the ball more. But I'll say this as well. I think there's an argument when you look at it that Behren Morton is the better passer, so he's going to be thrown into tighter windows. You need that, right? So I think it really comes down to this for me. What do you want the Texas Tech offense to look like, right? And if we're going about how Kittley has really put things out there in terms of spreading it out and everything, Behren Morton might be the better option, especially if you actually give Tahj Brooks carries. And thank God they did last night because, again, 19 for 158. Listen, I'm not saying Tahj Brooks is going to have 150 yards rushing every game, but you have to keep a defense honest, and you have to give your second best playmaker the damn ball at least 15 to 18 times out of the backfield. I don't care if it's carries or catches. I really don't. Just get the ball in his hands. He's got the juice, right? But the biggest thing going into this week was going to be who was QB1. It is going to be Tyler Shough. But I will say this, and I hope y'all stayed around to the end of the video to hear it. There's a lot of smoke right now, and don't get it twisted. I guarantee you they hear what's going on right now in the fandom in terms of who should be QB1 in everybody's opinion. I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer, but I will say this. I appreciate Joey McGuire basically coming out and flat out saying, hey, there's no debate right now. It's Tyler Shough. That doesn't mean fans can't debate it, right? And think that there should be one. But as of right now, headed into Big 12 play, and Texas Tech got a lot of momentum. I haven't even mentioned the defense yet, who played phenomenal against Tarleton State. Really only gave up a late field goal, had a shutout until about, 3 minutes left, right? They did phenomenal. Did Tim DeRuyter's crew. And shout out to Malik Dunlap getting 2 interceptions. Should have had 1 last week against Oregon, but neither here nor there on that front, I guess. But Texas Tech's got a little bit of momentum now. West Virginia, they may be better than a little, person thinks that's talking to you right now. I'm that little person right now. In terms of, I thought West Virginia was bad. They beat Pitt. Pitt's not very good. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I do wonder what you're going to see now in Morgantown for Texas Tech. We do know one thing, health permitting, Tyler Shough will be QB1. But I want to ask you guys, in your opinion, this is simply an opinion, who do you want to be the Red Raiders QB1? Type S for Shough or M for Morton. Again, Texas Tech wins their first game of the year, 41-3. over Tarleton State. They will now start their Big 12 slate out in Morgantown at 2:30 on Saturday afternoon against Neil Brown and the Fighting West Virginia Mountaineers. I am RC Maxfield. I appreciate y'all letting me rant about this QB situation. I really do. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. And if you want more Texas Tech videos, it's very simple. You only have to do one thing. Hit that subscribe button to stay in the know on Texas Tech football all year long right here on the most engaging and fastest growing Texas Tech fan community here on YouTube. Of course, talk about the Back to 12 podcast channel.